Okay, so this provides some instructions on how to do common valve repair on sprinkler systems. The first thing you want to do before you work on a valve is to turn off the supply, the water supply, and then open up a bunch of your circuits. And the idea is to get all the water pressure out of the system, because otherwise when you start taking these valves apart, the parts are going to fly everywhere. So I have a replacement valve here. I've already taken the screws out of it to make this video go faster. But there's two things you can replace on a valve: the solenoid, or inside this diaphragm with the spring. These are the only two things, moving parts on these valves, so this or this. And I've already loosened these parts down here. I'm going to unscrew the solenoid first. It goes counterclockwise, and if you lift that out, be careful, there's a plunger in here and this thing can fall. You can lose it, so be careful about that. And then there's 8 screws in my particular model. I've already undone those screws. And I also tend to clean it off in the ground. That's a little bit tricky because the water can get trapped down here, but I get most of the dirt off so that when I pull it out of here, I don't get dirt falling down into the valve body. So these things are only 17 bucks or 20 bucks a piece, so it's best just to replace all the parts. So we'll start with the solenoid. You just literally just pull on it and it comes off. And then I'll take the new solenoid, and note that this thing points down into the bottom of the valve, and this part in the spring is on the top. So I'm going to just, and you'll very often have one part of the ring will be different. You got to make sure you line that up properly. So just take your new diaphragm, reach it down in the ground, line up that little loop on the outside with the device that's used to change the pressure on each side of the valve. Then take this part, again, being really careful not to get any dirt in here or in the top of the valve, there can make it stop working. So then just sort of hold the spring on there and then set it down and press the valve into place. And then take your screws and just put those in. And when you're putting the screws in, you want to do alternating sides. You don't want to just start at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, go around. Do 1, 6, 9, 3, just opposite, so that it snugs the thing down tightly. Clean up your solenoid really well. If you have a new solenoid, you could just wire it up. There's only 2 wires. Pay attention to how you had your old ones. Put the plunger into it, and then insert it back down into the valve switch seat. And that's pretty much it. And then turn it clockwise. When you're putting that solenoid back in, don't use a wrench on it. It should be hand tight because it's an O-ring. If you have a hard time getting it off, because sometimes they can stick, there is a neat little plumber's tool like this that you can reach down into the ground, and it's like a pipe wrench. It grabs it and it can twist it. You can flip it around the other direction to tighten it, but I would never tighten it with one of these things. Well, hopefully that saves you some time.